luck, even on the battlefield, has clear limits. The footage documents a Russian soldier attempting to cross a trench while moving toward Vilna Pole in the Donetsk region. During the movement, he survives an initial direct encounter with a drone. Exhaustion quickly takes over. Unable to climb out of the trench, he remains below, resting beneath a tree canopy to regain strength before continuing. Moments later, another Ukrainian drone approaches and descends toward his position. This time, a technical malfunction intervenes. The drone becomes entangled in the branches above and fails to detonate. Startled, the soldier crawls away from the stuck aircraft and increases distance from the immediate danger. Believing the threat has passed, he stops moving and remains in place. The pause proves costly. Shortly afterward, a third drone enters the area, guided by continued aerial observation. It approaches slowly, confirms the position, and completes the engagement. The sequence illustrates how brief survival and chance do not replace movement, awareness, or sustained cover under persistent drone presence. The following footage takes place in a village near Mirnohorad, an area under dispute and monitored by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone. The images show a large group of Russian soldiers moving away from a contested zone after an unsuccessful engagement. Their pace is hurried and disorganized. Several soldiers are seen carrying a stretcher, evacuating a wounded teammate, suggesting recent losses. The group quickly withdraws toward what appears to be a temporary base inside a large building. From above, the movement is tracked continuously. Once the soldiers enter the structure and consolidate inside, a Ukrainian drone approaches the site. Using a small window as an entry point, the drone moves into the building. Shortly afterward, the structure collapses. The sequence ends with the position no longer active, illustrating how concentrated movement, visible withdrawal routes, and use of temporary shelters can expose forces to aerial observation and rapid response in contested urban environments. The documentary footage shows a group of Russian soldiers resting inside a trench, likely pausing to eat or recover. Suddenly, one soldier stands, prompting the entire group to rise and move toward a nearby shelter, suggesting they have sensed an approaching threat. Seconds later, a Ukrainian drone reaches the position and engages the shelter, rendering the group unable to continue operations and clearing the area under aerial oversight. The next footage, recorded by a Ukrainian drone, shifts to a forest edge. While hovering above the tree line, the drone detects two faint shapes on the ground below. Closer observation reveals two Russian soldiers lying asleep, likely exhausted after a failed attack. Their lack of movement confirms the assessment. Moments later, a second Ukrainian drone enters the area and proceeds to engage, ending the sequence under continuous aerial observation. In the Lyman direction, a Russian soldier resting beneath a tree inside the forest is detected and engaged by a drone. Nearby, two other soldiers attempt to sleep using thermal avoidance clothing as makeshift cover, but their position is identified by another aerial system. Along a nearby forest trail, two soldiers traveling by motorcycle are also intercepted and forced to stop. In a separate moment, one soldier attempts to drive away the threat with his weapon, without success. The sequence concludes with a logistics truck moving through the area being detected and targeted, highlighting how aerial surveillance extends across personnel, movement routes, and supply lines simultaneously. During a routine Ukrainian drone patrol near a residential area, operators detect unexpected aerial movement. A Russian fiber optic guided drone crosses the monitored airspace at low altitude. The Ukrainian drone quickly adjusts course, maintains visual contact, and moves to intercept. The engagement prevents the opposing system from continuing its mission, demonstrating the value of constant aerial patrols and rapid reaction against emerging drone threats. Ukrainian MiG-29M U-1 fighter aircraft conduct a precision strike using French-supplied AASM Hammer guided munitions in the Kherson direction. The operation targets a Russian position identified earlier, demonstrating coordinated air power and guided weapons to engage fixed locations with accuracy while limiting exposure time. The next development takes place on the edge of a village in the Zaporizhzhia direction. The footage captures a Russian soldier attempting to move through the settlement using a small electric scooter. Focused on the road ahead, he remains unaware of activity behind him. A Ukrainian drone tracks the movement from above, gradually closing the distance. The engagement unfolds from the rear, illustrating how mobility inside damaged villages offers limited protection once aerial surveillance is established. The next sequence unfolds in a contested area near Pokrovsk. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone, using thermal scanning, detects a group of Russian soldiers moving through a forested zone. The heat signatures stand out clearly against the surrounding terrain. Within moments, an attack drone is redirected toward the location and closes in from above. Nearby, another Russian soldier appears to be preparing movement toward a residential area. But this attempt is quickly identified and blocked by a separate Ukrainian drone before it can develop further. Following these initial contacts, Ukrainian units expand their response. Multiple drone strikes are launched in succession, including drones deploying aerial munitions and strike drones carrying payloads into the forest. The operations focus on suspected hiding positions and movement corridors used by Russian personnel. Throughout the sequence, drones maintain coordination and spacing, applying pressure across several points rather than a single location. The footage illustrates how thermal detection, rapid response, and repeated drone activity can disrupt movement and deny concealment in wooded terrain near active front lines. FPV drones known as Gromilo Optic once again demonstrate their effectiveness on the battlefield. In one sequence, a soldier hiding at the base of a bridge near the front line is detected and engaged from above. Nearby, another group sheltering inside a trench appears momentarily secure, yet a separate drone approaches and targets the position. In a different area, a soldier who loses awareness and lies down to rest in fully exposed terrain is also identified and intercepted. Even attempts at countermeasures prove insufficient. Soldiers wearing thermal avoidance clothing are detected through movement and positioning rather than heat alone. In each case, aerial systems maintain observation, confirm locations, and apply pressure with precision. The footage highlights how layered FPV drone coverage reduces the effectiveness of concealment, terrain features, and improvised protection, reinforcing how constant aerial presence reshapes survival decisions along the front line.